Okay, bonjour. So, in this video, we will actually start trigonometry. As I told you in the last video, trigonometry is a branch of mathematics that deals with the ratios of lengths of sides of right triangles, triangle rectangle. This is very useful in science and engineering. There are many uses of trigonometry. One of the most common ones is that it is useful in solving triangles. Now, what do I mean by solving triangles? It means that if I give a problem like this, I give you a triangle, 30 degrees, 20 degrees, whatever that is, and this is 80 millimeters. What's the length of A and B? So, now the only way you could do it at the moment is if you drew it with a scale, with a rapporteur, you calculate, you mark the angles and you drew it and you measured side A and side B. But that is, you will have a lot of errors in there because, first of all, you're drawing, you'll have measurement errors both in measuring the angle as well as the lengths. So if you have to do it just by calculation, you cannot do it without trigonometry. Pythagoras will not help you here because there's no right angle here, so you have to use trigonometry. Or if I give you another example, if I give you a triangle with all three sides, this is 90 millimeters, that is 60 millimeters, that is 50 millimeters. What are these angles? Again, you could draw it and then use a rapporteur to measure angle A, angle B and angle C, but that is not the analytical way of doing it. If you had to do it only by calculations, you cannot do it without trigonometry. That means if you use trigonometry, you will be able to find out these angles. If you use trigonometry, you will be able to calculate these sides. Okay. So, the reason for using right triangles, triangle, rectangle, is if you take any triangle, as I said in the last video, you can always divide it into two right triangles and then you can calculate each right triangle, you can solve each right triangle, then add up and get the whole triangle. Okay, so in trigonometry, we were in the last video, we took the ratios of the sides. Remember, we concentrated on that, the ratios of the sides, this side over this side, this side divided by this side divided by this side divided by this side. In trigonometry, these ratios are given names, and these names, as you probably are aware of, are in French. The three ratios are called cosinus, sinus, tangent. This tangent has nothing to do with the line that just touches a circle, which is what you knew as tangent. This is just a name given to one of the three ratios that between two sides of a right triangle. So let us see what these ratios are and how they are defined. Okay, so these are the three ratios. Cosinus alpha, who alpha is the angle. So you see, this is a right triangle. This is the angle alpha. Alpha is the first letter of the Greek alphabet. So we use that as a name of an angle. So we say cosinus alpha. In short, it is called cos alpha. It is the same thing when you say cosinus alpha or cos alpha. This is the short form. This is the form we'll use most often. So this is defined as côté adjacent. This is the adjacent side to the angle over the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, we know from in a right triangle, is the side opposite the right angle. So it's the longest side. So in this case, côté adjacent, c'est AC divisé par hypotenuse AB. So this ratio in a triangle rectangle ACB is AC sur AB is called cosinus alpha, where alpha is this angle. The next ratio is called sinus alpha. It's also written as sin alpha. Côté opposé sur hypoténuse. Alors dans ce cas, on a BC sur AB, côté opposé. Côté opposé à quoi? Côté opposé à l'angle alpha. So this is the side which is opposite angle alpha. So you get BC sur hypoténuse. So you get BC sur AB. AB is the hypotenuse. And the third ratio is of between the remaining two sides, that is, we have taken this over this, we have taken this over that, and now we take this over this. So tangente alpha, aussi dit tan alpha, est égal à côté opposé sur côté adjacent, BC sur AC. These are the three important ratios, and I think you should spend a little time looking at them. In a few days you will learn them very well, which is which, and I'll tell you what they're called in English. They're called similar. In English they're called cosine. This cosinus is cosine. It's called cos. Sinus is called sine. It's called sin. No, actually in French it's called sin. In English it's pronounced sine. So you'll say, in English you'll say cos alpha, sine alpha. In French you'll say cos alpha, sin alpha. Okay. And the last one is called tangent. It's called tan. So here you have, in French you probably say tan alpha. In English you say tan alpha. So these are the cos, sine and tan, cosine, sine and tangent. These are the names of these ratios in English. Now we have named these ratios, but what's the use of naming them? The thing is that by naming them you don't really gain anything. But the thing is that they have, when I say they, over the years, over the hundreds of years, people have measured these ratios and have noted them down. So for say if you take 20 degrees. So somebody has drawn this and measured it, and for 20 degrees in a table they've written what is cos alpha for 20 degrees, what is sine alpha for 20 degrees, what is tan alpha for 20 degrees. And these values, as you now know, as you probably already are anticipating me, are stored in your calculator. Because all scientific calculators have cos, sine and tan keys, so these numbers are stored there. Before calculators, you could buy books which had all these values printed. For every angle, they would give you cos, sine and tan, and you could go up in 1 degrees, that is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could go up 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. I'm talking of degrees. The books were quite thick, and they were actually known as trigonometry tables, or in short, trig tables. So these ratios are available for every angle. What do I mean by available? Available how? They were available in printed books called, as I just said, trig tables. That's the old way. Now if you find some trig tables, you can go to the school and ask Ravida to show you old trig tables, and he will probably still have them. And there is small booklet with page after page of values printed. So earlier you looked up the book. Now of course you have them in the calculator. So now I just want you to remember one thing, that if you have a triangle like this with a given angle alpha, and you have a triangle like this with a given alpha, with the same angle alpha here, then remember that cos alpha is equal to AC over AB. It's also equal to DF over DE, because these two triangles are similar. These ratios are going to be the same. So this is one fundamental point you have to remember, that these ratios are independent of the size of the triangle. They only depend on this angle. Okay. So that we can see cos alpha is AC over AB is also equal to DF over DE. And if we have already shown since these two triangles are similar, why are they similar? Because this angle is equal to that angle, this angle is equal to this angle, two angles equal, 2 by 2 equal in different triangles, the triangles are similar. Similarly, sine alpha is equal to BC over AB. It's also equal to EF over DE. So if you drew these two triangles with the same alpha angle with different sizes, and you actually measured these sides and you took these ratios, you would find that BC over AB will equal EF over DE. This follows from Théorème de Thalès de Proportionnalité as well as similar triangles. This is the sole reason that we did the similar triangles chapter, just so that it gives us the basis for trigonometry. Okay. So now we come to how do we use the calculator? So we use the calculator. Before we can use a calculator to calculate these ratios for any given angle, you have to make sure that the calculator is set to degrees. You see, angles are measured in three different ways. They're measured in degrees, which we know, 360 degrees in one circle, 90 degrees is one right angle. They're also measured in something called radians. Now you will come across this later on in your science and math studies if you pursue them. This is a different way of measuring angles. And grade is really something that is never ever used. It was, I think it was called grade in French. It was invented by the French, and they wanted to divide the whole circle instead of 360 degrees into 400 grades, because that is easier to divide. 400 is divisible by 100, whereas 360 is not divisible by 100. So how do you make sure that you have set your calculator to degrees, radian to degrees? So in most calculators there will be an indicator on the top of the display saying D, R or G. So you have to find out from your calculator. You can Google it or you can find out, but you have to turn it to degrees, because otherwise if you say try to find out tan of 30 degrees, it might give you tan of 30 radians if it has been set to radians. Okay. So I have a calculator here. Actually I use a calculator on my phone, but this phone I'm using to take the videos. I've downloaded that app on my tablet, which is here. That's why I have to go back a little, because it is big. So here you can see I'm zooming in, and here you can see it. By the way, this is I mentioned in one of my previous videos that this is a good app to download. It's called RealCalc. It comes in paid version and free version. The free version is good enough. The paid version gives you a few extra features which we don't really need in our class. And also remember that I'm not sure whether it is available on iPhones, but it is definitely available on Android. So if you want to purchase the pro version, it costs 79 rupees, that's all. Anyway, I don't recommend it. So here you see there's a DRG key, which means it will switch from degrees, radians, grade. So I'm doing it. You see it went to radian here. You can see the display. I press it again, it went to grade, and I pressed it there. So as you press it, it cycles through all the three in rotation. So I am on degrees. So I am on degrees. So here, for example, to find out tan of 30 degrees, what do? I will do type 30. Now there are two types of calculators. So this is the simpler type. This is the one that's more comfortable to use. So you use this. So I'm showing you for this, but I will also explain how to do it with other calculators such as the Casio ones. So we'll find out tan of 30. So first thing is I enter 30 there, and then I just press the tan key. So tan of 30 is 0.577350269119. We really don't need that many digits after the decimal. So if I do tan of 30, I will get 0.577. In the other type of calculator, you start by saying tan. So when you do that, it'll show on the display tan, and you'll open the brackets. Then you type 30. Then the display will change to this. Then you press the key for the closing brackets. Then it'll show this. Then you press the execute key, and then it'll show you this same answer that we have here on my calculator app. Okay, so let's try a few other values. Let me bring it closer. Let's see, if I want to tan 30, we have already calculated is 0.577. What if I want to do sine of 15 degrees? So here, first let me clear it. It's cleared. Then I do 1, 5, and then I press sine. So it's 0.2588. So which rounds up to 0.259. Then we have cos of 23. I'm just taking a few numbers at random. So let's do 23. And then we can press cos, and gives us 0.920. 0.921. I've rounded it off because it is 9205. Okay. And interestingly, it will do for any value you ask. Tan of, let's take a tan 10.6312 degrees. So 10.6312, and then if I take tan of this, I get 0.1877, which I round up to 0.188. So how does a calculator store an infinite number of values? We will discuss. This is something that is not really necessary to know in this class, but the calculator doesn't actually store these values. It actually uses advanced mathematics to calculate them. So each time you enter an angle, it calculates whatever function you ask, sine, cos, tan. Wait a minute, Kimda just said function. Yes, it's true. These sine, cos, tan are functions. No, it's right. They are functions. You have here, this is the sine function. You enter an angle, alpha, and here you get out a value, which is a ratio. So these are all, in a way, functions. You enter a value, sine is the name of the function, you enter an angle and you get a value out. This is what the calculator does. For every value you enter, you can use one of these three functions. Don't get confused with the sine -1, cos -1, tan -1. We will discuss what those are later on in a subsequent video. Forget whatever this hype is. This is totally unnecessary. We will be using sine, cos, tan, and sine inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse. I call those sine inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse, what is shown in yellow here, but they are actually technically called reverse functions of sine, cos, and tan. They're called arc sine, arc cos, arc tan. You don't need to remember that because we will come back to that later on. Okay, so now we know how to find the sine, cos, or tan of any angle if we have a calculator. If you don't have a scientific calculator, download this app called RealCalc. It's free and you will then have it on your phone. Right. So now, just to make sure that you watched the video, I will give you some very simple exercises. This is exercise A, where this is 30 degrees, this is 20 millimeters. Can you find out km? This is 30 degrees. This is 20 millimeters. Can you find out km? Calculate. You don't have to draw it. You calculate it. And for this, you can use tan 30 is equal to 0.577. This is the first question. Second question is just to get you used to using your calculator. Tell me, use your calculator and just write down all these values. Sine of 30 degrees, cos of 60 degrees, tan of 45 degrees, tan of 89 degrees, cos of 1.5 degrees. Okay, I end this video here. You send me this and then we will proceed with another video, or I will give you some problems to do from the book. This is where I end.